A headline like, "New Social Security Bill Approved, All Seniors Must Do This Now," is circulating widely right now, and if you have seen it, here is what you need to know immediately. As of this recording, there is no new law that has been approved requiring Social Security recipients to take an urgent action. That claim does not match the current legislative record. What is actually happening in Washington is more complicated, and more important than that headline suggests. So let's walk through exactly what is real, what is still just a proposal, and what, if anything, you actually need to do. Social Security is genuinely in the news this year, and there are real reasons for that. According to the current information from the Social Security Administration and Congress.gov, several different bills touching Social Security have been introduced or reintroduced in 2026. None of them have been signed into law. The important distinction is between a bill being introduced, a bill being debated in committee, a bill passing one chamber of Congress, and a bill actually becoming federal law after passing both the House and the Senate and being signed by the President. Right now, every major Social Security proposal in the news falls into the first two categories, introduced or under discussion. None has completed that full process. Let's go through what is actually on the table. A bipartisan group of senators, led by Senator Dick Durbin and Senator Bill Cassidy, introduced a bill known as the Promise Act. Based on the current information, this bill does not cut benefits and does not raise taxes on its own. Instead, it would create a bipartisan board tasked with writing a plan to keep Social Security funded for decades to come, along with special procedural rules meant to force Congress to eventually vote on that plan. This is a process bill, not a benefits bill. It has not passed the Senate or the House, and organizations including AARP have publicly objected to parts of how it would work. At this point, it remains a proposal. Separately, the Social Security 2100 Act has been reintroduced in Congress. If this legislation becomes law, it would raise benefits modestly for many current recipients and change how cost of living adjustments are calculated for roughly a decade, funded in part by extending payroll taxes to higher incomes. According to nonpartisan legislative trackers, this bill currently has a very low probability of passing given the current makeup of Congress. It has not been voted into law. There is also the Social Security Expansion Act, a separate bill that proposes combining the retirement and disability trust funds and extending payroll taxes to income above $250,000. Like the others, this is a proposal that has been introduced but has not passed both chambers of Congress. And a fourth bill worth knowing about is the Senior Citizens Freedom to Work Act of 2026, sponsored by Senators Rick Scott and Greg Murphy. According to the current information, this proposal would eliminate the Social Security earnings test for beneficiaries who are under full retirement age and still working. Right now, if you claim benefits before full retirement age and continue working, a portion of your benefits can be withheld once your earnings pass a certain threshold. This bill would end that withholding rule for that group. Again, this is a proposal. It has not been enacted and no official effective date exists because it has not become law. So here's what is confirmed. Multiple bills touching Social Security are being discussed in Congress in 2026. None of them have been signed into law. None of them has created a new form seniors need to fill out, a new deadline seniors need to meet, or a new requirement to update your bank information. If you have seen a video, email, text message, or website telling you that you must act immediately because a new Social Security law was just approved, that claim is not supported by the official record from Congress or the Social Security Administration. Now let's talk about who these proposals would affect if any of them eventually became law, because the impact would not be identical for every recipient. The Promise Act, as a process bill, would not directly change anyone's payment. Its effects would only be felt later, if and when the board it creates produces a plan that Congress actually passes. The Social Security 2100 Act and the Social Security Expansion Act, if enacted, would primarily affect current retired workers, survivors, and dependents receiving retirement benefits, with some provisions aimed at long-term solvency rather than immediate payments. The Senior Citizens Freedom to Work Act would only affect a specific group, Social Security beneficiaries who are under full retirement age and still earning income above the annual earnings limit. It would have no effect on retirees who have already reached full retirement age, since the earnings test does not apply to them regardless of how much they earn. It is important not to assume that every Social Security recipient is affected by any of these bills, because based on current information, that is not accurate. Given all of that, do seniors need to do anything right now because of these bills? Based on the current information, no. There is no verified requirement to submit a new application, change your direct deposit information, call an unfamiliar phone number, or provide personal information to any organization claiming to process a new Social Security law. If any of these bills is eventually signed into law, the Social Security Administration will announce implementation details directly through ssa.gov and through official mailed notices to beneficiaries. Until that happens, no action is required in connection with these specific bills. There is, however, one Social Security change that is confirmed and already affecting payments in 2026, and it is worth separating clearly from the bills we just discussed because it is not new legislation. It is the annual cost of living adjustment, or COLA, which the Social Security Administration announced under existing law. Social Security and supplemental security income benefits increased by 2.8% for 2026. This adjustment happens automatically every year under a formula Congress established back in 1972, using the Consumer Price Index for urban wage earners and clerical workers. Beneficiaries do not need to apply for the COLA, contact the Social Security Administration, or take any action to receive it. It is already built into your monthly payment. If your payment amount for 2026 looks different than in prior years, this annual adjustment is very likely the reason, not any of the bills discussed earlier. In terms of dates, here is what is actually confirmed. The 2.8% cost of living adjustment took effect starting with December 2025 payments, which most beneficiaries would have seen reflected in their January 2026 checks, with official notices available through the mailed COLA notice and through the message center on your personal My Social Security account. Beyond that confirmed adjustment, there are no verified effective dates, application deadlines, or payment dates tied to the Promise Act, the Social Security 2100 Act, the Social Security Expansion Act, or the Senior Citizens Freedom to Work Act, because none of them has been signed into law. So what should you actually do if you want to stay informed and protect yourself? The safest step is to check your own Social Security information directly through the official Social Security Administration website at ssa.gov or by creating or logging into your personal My Social Security account there. That account lets you view your benefit statements, your COLA notices, and your personal earnings record without needing to rely on a third party. If you ever see a message claiming to be from Social Security that asks you to click a link, provide your Social Security number, or confirm your bank account information outside of the official SSA.gov website, treat that as a warning sign. The Social Security Administration does not require you to pay a fee or provide sensitive personal information through unofficial websites or unsolicited phone calls in order to keep receiving your benefits. To summarize where things actually stand, several Social Security bills are currently being discussed in Congress, including the Promise Act, the Social Security 2100 Act, the Social Security Expansion Act, and the Senior Citizens Freedom to Work Act. Every one of them remains a proposal. None has passed both chambers of Congress and been signed into law. The only confirmed currently active change affecting Social Security payments in 2026 is the annual 2.8% cost of living adjustment, which happened automatically and required no action from beneficiaries. What remains uncertain is whether any of these newer bills will advance further in Congress, particularly during the period after this year's midterm elections, when some lawmakers have said they intend to push harder for a broader deal on Social Security's long-term funding. That is worth watching, but it is not something that requires you to do anything today. If you found this update helpful, consider subscribing so you can get verified, fact-checked Social Security updates as this story develops, rather than relying on misleading headlines. We will continue tracking these bills through Congress, and will let you know clearly and honestly if any of them actually becomes law and affects your benefits. This video is for general informational and educational purposes only. It is not legal, tax, or financial advice. For questions about your specific Social Security benefits, please contact the Social Security Administration directly through ssa.gov or by visiting a local Social Security office.